Hey Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. Today we did a build in the monolithic, gigantic ROG Helios case. This is the white edition. This case has had so many reviews over the entire time it's been out, so we didn't do our usual thing where we pull every little component apart. However, we did thermal test this thing, so without further ado, roll that intro. As usual, we build with parts that we have on hand. We just so happen to have a stack of white parts, so yeah, we went with a white themed build. I'll talk about the choice of some of the parts a little bit later on in the video, but it's build time, so let's jump in. Alright ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this build in the Asus ROG Strix Helios in white. It is a huge case, probably not something that I would personally use because it's just so massive. Look at me, I'm sitting next to it and I look like an ant. So if the last white build we did was the Ice Cube and the one before that was the Iceberg, this one is the Titanic. Let's check out the thermals. What you're seeing on screen right now is the thermals that aren't actually too bad. The reason why they are the way they are is because there's so much internal volume in this case that it just doesn't get that hot. That's the thermals. They're not too bad, they're not excellent. They're just about what you'd expect for a 5900X and a 3080. All right, let's chat about those parts. The CPU is the AMD Ryzen 9 5900X. We put the 5900X on the Asus ROG Strix B550A. To cool the 5900X, we use the ROG Strix LC360 liquid cooler. It's an Asus based one, it's a white cooler. We've used this in a stack of builds already. I think this is the third time that we've used it in a white build, mainly because, yeah, all those 3 builds used ROG parts, and I figured, you know, let's just keep the theme going for a little bit longer. This is probably the last white build that we'll be doing for a while. I just wanted to round it out because we've had this case sitting here for a while and it's white, and I'm like, you know what? White build. The RAM is 32 gigs of Team Group Extreme ARGB in white at 3600 megahertz. You're probably noticing a theme going on here with all of these white parts being about the same as the other white builds. That's because I love this combination of parts. They just look really good together. So I was just like, one more. Please let me get away with one more. The cable extensions are custom-made cable mod ones. They're in white and silver with white combs. The GPU is the Asus ROG Strix RTX 3080OC White Edition. And there's a PC part picker list down below in the description for the rest of the parts if there's anything that I missed. But let's talk about the lighting because that is very important in 2021 to everybody. The fans that I went with are Corsair QL 120s on the liquid cooler. There's 3 of those in total, and a 140mm QL fan up the back. Now, the reason why I decided not to change the 3 factory front fans, the blacked out 140mm fans, is because I wanted it to kind of retain the look of that illuminated glass at the front. I feel like if you were to put fans behind it, it would just take away from that lighting effect, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to keep it as stock looking at the front as possible, but the rest of the parts internally were white. So yeah, that's basically the reason for it. Also, the RGB strip in here is a old Cooler Master one. It's not even ARGB, but it's got this nice diffuser on it, and every time I use it, the light is just so much softer, and that's why I went with that. Regarding the case itself, the Helios is absolutely massive and absolutely easy to build in, as expected. Heaps of cable management space, heaps of tie downs for everything. I only used 2 zip ties for the entire build because it literally has tie downs for everything as it is. Now, I was gonna do the normal thing where I go and like tear down the whole case and do all that with the Helios, but this case has been out for a little while and I figured, you know what, people have already done this, it's already been seen. The Asus website has a lot of information about this case already, and I was like, I'll do the build, I'll do the thermal test so you can know what the thermals are like, and just skip that whole pulling the whole case and ripping it apart thing, and just leave that for other cases that are newer and whatnot. And I know some people are going to get disappointed with the fact that I didn't do this, but at the same time, a lot of people have been liking this new trimmed down format. Basically cut out the fat at the start, do the cinematics at the end, blah, blah, etc., etc., etc. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it. I don't have much more to say about this. This is one of those builds that was therapeutic for me. The entire build took me about 45 minutes because of how easy this thing is to build in. So yeah, I'm done. If you like the music you heard here, I make all the music. It's available over on Patreon. You want to get early access to videos like this one, head on over to Floatplane. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek. And you know what time it is, Claire? It's time for me to leave. You know why? Cinematic mode. Right now, let's do it.